What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about Canadian news because as an American, I never get to see Canadian news here in the United States from any of our news or media coverage. So today, I'd like to take some time to learn about the current news and events happening in Canada right now that I otherwise would never get to hear about. So, with that being said, let's take a look, starting with Edmonton eager for decisive Stanley Cup final, Game 7 between Oilers and Panthers. Is it the Stanley Cup final right now? Or oh my gosh, that must sound like the most ludicrous thing to say for Canadians listening to this. You must be like, "Yes, you American fool! It's the Stanley Cup Finals." It's like, I'm sorry. Like many Americans, I don't really follow or keep up to date with hockey. So Edmonton is eager for this. Why? It's game 7. Game 7 is like, that's significant. Isn't that mean it's 3-3? Like, game 7 is the most games that it goes to. I know that much about hockey. The Oilers and Panthers? Let me look at this for a sec. Oh, the Edmonton Oilers! That's why Edmonton is excited. The Edmonton Oilers are hopeful ahead of decisive Stanley Cup final game against Florida Panthers. Game 7 set for 6 p.m. Is this happening? Like today? Tonight? Maybe this will have already happened by the time you're listening to me talk about this. But I think the Edmonton Oilers are trying to win a Stanley Cup. can anyone out there confirm this? Oh my gosh. Look at them. Oh man, they are up in arms. They are excited. They got their face paint. They got their jerseys. And a cowboy hat even. Wow. What does this say exactly about it? There's some fans looking happy. Edmonton Oilers on the brink of Stanley Cup win after an improbable comeback. The Oilers erased a 3-0 deficit to force Game 7. The Oilers, don't get me wrong, I don't follow hockey that much. I've made that clear. But the Edmonton Oilers were down 3-0 in a first to 4. And the Oilers won 3 games in a row, and now it's game 7. Is this the most hyped up Stanley Cup final, like, in forever? Like, I don't know, but I don't know if you could write a script more dramatic than that. That is insane. An Oilers win would be the ultimate comeback. The Florida Panthers pounced early, winning the first 3 games. Okay. See, at least I'm not biased here. I didn't even know about the Florida Panthers. Okay. Wow. That is awesome. The Oilers are trying to join the 1942 Toronto Maple Leafs as the only team to fall behind 3-0 in the final and still lift the cup. Really? And the Edmonton could win the first Stanley Cup since 1990 and be the first Canadian NHL team to hoist the trophy since 1993. That's what I was trying to figure out here. How long has it been since a Canadian hockey team has won the Stanley Cup? I know that's significant for Canada. I imagine all of Canada is rooting for the Edmonton Oilers. I know there's many Canadian hockey teams, but when it's the Stanley Cup final and there's only one Canadian team left in the running, does everyone kind of band together, throw your differences aside, and you're like, okay, like Maple Leafs fans, are you like, okay, fine, I will hoist the Oiler flag just this time? I don't know how hockey dramatics and sportsmanship and all that works, but I'm sure it's a lot of fun for Canadians and Americans, I guess in Florida as well, probably going crazy. I did not know about that. That's so funny. That's happening today. Ha! Wow. I gotta try to like catch some highlights from that or something or something. Okay, let's keep going. This isn't necessarily supposed to be a hockey only video, but that's big news for Canada, I think. Uh, on a completely different note, anaplasmosis is a tick-borne disease that's on the rise in Canada. We started out so strong today with this amazing hockey news, and now we're talking about ticks, tick diseases. Lyme disease. That's the disease that we talk about in America that everyone's scared of with ticks. You got to check yourself for the ticks because you might get Lyme disease. But this is a different tick-borne disease on the rise in Canada. No kidding. You see 500 cases of anaplasmosis a year. I've never seen that. Oh God, look at this thing. Just look at that tick. Ugh, so bulbous. I don't get a chance to use that word too often, so when I see an opportunity, I take it. Tick experts, tick experts, that's a thing. Tick experts are warning Canadians to be on the lookout for this disease, which has been steadily increasing. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time on the tick-borne illness, but stay safe out there if you're in Canada from the ticks and a different disease. Jeez. I'm sorry and devastated, says an elderly driver who apologizes for crash that killed an 8-year-old girl guide. Are you kidding me? This is quickly devolving, this Canadian news for today. Oh my God. Went from hockey to tick diseases to an 8-year-old dying. I will take a little look at this, even though this is not even in the same category. This is tragic. I'm sorry and devastated. McNorgan apologizes to victims in a collision that killed an 8-year-old girl. I mean, what can you say? Like, it's good that you're apologizing, but at the same time, let's be honest here. There's no amount of apologizing that's ever going to make up for the death of that 8-year-old girl and her family. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. I hope that meant something to the family. But just from my knee-jerk reaction is like, I don't know. There's really no way to make this right, sadly. Even if she goes to jail, did she just accidentally crash into an 8-year-old girl? Is it like that? Driver found guilty on all counts. Crash killed 8-year-old girl. Injured 7 more? Okay. Now I'm even, I don't like to be too harsh. I'm no judge, but the apology is, I don't know, doesn't quite cut it, does it? Expressing her deepest sorrow for what happened. What happened, though? She drove her car into a troop of Girl Guides. Uh, 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 uh. So this is like Girl Scouts in America. These are Girl Guides, little girls doing like good things for the community. And oh my gosh, 79-year-old. Maybe she shouldn't have been driving to begin with. She's a retired teacher. Obviously, it sounds like she didn't, like, I don't know. Of course she didn't mean to do it, but there's people who are driving recklessly, knowing that they're driving recklessly. They're knowing that they're putting people in danger, and they're just bad people. This woman is older, maybe shouldn't be driving. She's been a teacher. She's been trying to help kids her whole life. And she probably didn't anticipate, like, turning 79 and murdering little girls. Like, I'll give her that much. Probably not what she was hoping for her life either. Just terrible all around. Not much you can say about that. Not much you can say about that. Sad, super sad. What else? He died in Hamilton jail within 24 hours. Family won't give up till they get answers. What is going on in Canada this week? This is I'm desperately, as I do oftentimes with the Canadian news, I'm desperately trying to find both the terrible news and some of the uplifting stories. Naheed Nenshi, elected new leader of Alberta NDP. That's the New Democratic Party, I think. We don't have really any political party like that here in the United States. So there's like a leader of the political party in every province? Is that right, by the sound of it? What else? More political news. Polls open in Toronto by election. That's considered a crucial test for Trudeau. Oh, what does this mean? Right, I've heard that, I don't know when Canada holds its elections or how that works, but I've heard that the next time around that there's a Canadian election, Trudeau is going to have his work cut out for him. He might not be prime minister come next election. There's some competition brewing, and this is a poll in Toronto. So this is a very crucial poll. Even a marginal Liberal win could be troublesome for prime minister. A Liberal win could be troublesome? I thought he was the Liberal Party. Wouldn't that be good for him? Am I crazy? I don't know who Don Stewart is. It's a two-horse race between Don Stewart and Leslie Church. Oh, this is like the MP or something? I don't... shockingly, maybe to you, I don't understand Canadian government and politics too well, but this is a representative in Toronto, I think, that they're voting for. Either Don Stewart, who's liberal, or Leslie Church, who's on the right. Conservative Don Stewart and liberal Leslie Church. There we go. Let me get it straight. And this is going to be important for Trudeau and his election? Voters go to the polls on Monday in the federal riding of Toronto St. Paul's in a by-election some perceive as a referendum on Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. So this is going to like set the tone. This election is going to set the tone, basically, for Trudeau. Okay, interesting. You really do not hear much about Canadian politics here in America at all. Unless the Prime Minister changed in Canada. That would make the news in America. But never any of this sort of specific little election stuff. So that's real interesting to me. I never hear about that. Okay, let's keep going. Ontario Liberal MP, map of Canada, forgets Prince Edward Island and Yukon. He forgot to put Prince Edward Island and the Yukon on his map. Man, the Northwest Territories really gained a lot of land, didn't they? Oh my gosh, look at that. When the Yukon just disappears overnight. I mean, look at Quebec. Like, I'm American, and I can tell something's wrong with this. What? Where's, what's New Brunswick? Or Nova Scotia? What? This map just doesn't look right. What? This is an elected official in Canada? I'll let that speak for itself then. What else? Ooh. On a soccer field in Harrow, Ontario, hundreds have gathered to honor a family found dead in a rural home. What do you mean a family found dead? What does that mean? What do you mean a whole... You can't just put that in the title and not explain. 4 found dead? A family just found dead? Huh? So they're holding a vigil, honoring the family, but what happened? Police haven't released many details. They haven't said what led to the deaths. The bodies are being examined. What? What? Dear God. This is. I mean, there's been some disturbing stories over the weeks, but this week is kind of nuts. Like, that little girl was. That girl died, and that girl was murdered, run down in a car crash. There's. This guy's forgetting the Yukon, getting left out of maps. The family of four just died. No one knows what happened? Really? That's like just disturbing on a different level. Friends and family of man presumed drowned in Niagara whirlpool are trying to search for him. Like Niagara Falls? Or is there some other part of Niagara? It is believed Shubham Manchanda, 25, fell from a rock into the river? Oh my God, he's presumed dead after falling into Niagara River whirlpool last weekend, although they are encouraging to still look for him. That's terrifying. That's horrible. He might be gone, but I hope they find him if he is somehow, by a miracle, still out there. I hope they find him, but that's horrible. Okay, on that note, let's keep going. Why are so many big city condos empty? Because they're very expensive. I imagine. Because no one can afford anything anymore. I don't even need to read that to know that. Man charged in Woodbridge, Ontario, shooting that killed a toddler and mother. What's going on? What's happening? What's happening here? Like, I'm sure, don't get me wrong, I'm sure, like, there's murders and stuff in the United States every day. Every day. I'm sure statistically someone's murdered, like, every hour in America. Like, statistically, somewhere, I'm sure. But there's something about just seeing all this, like, in the Canadian news. I still never expect so much death and destruction in the Canadian news, because you don't hear about this here in America. But, and a lot in Ontario. It's all in Ontario. What's happening in Ontario? Toronto man, 41, charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted murder. Did he attempt it, or did he... Well, it said he killed a toddler, right? He's been charged with murder after a toddler and mother were killed. Disgusting. Horrible. Disgusting. Should go to jail. Throw away the key. You know, there. In true American fashion. Throw him away, throw him in jail, and throw away the key. But seriously, do that. I have a 2-year-old child, said someone being interviewed, so I can only imagine what this feels like. Yeah, seriously. The mother was pronounced dead inside the home. 3 others were taken to hospital. 4 people suffered gunshot wounds. Toddler was pronounced dead. What was he doing? Was this just an act of terrorism, an act of, like, just to terrorize the community? What was the why? What was the why, you know? He is believed to have known the victims. What their relationship exactly was is something we're still trying to work through. We do believe this is a targeted incident. So this was not random. Okay, that makes it a little more interesting. He knew them. He killed a baby, toddler, and their mother, so not much more you need to know than that. I'm glad they caught him. And I hope justice is served. What else do we have here? Penny Olesiak missed qualifying for 100-meter freestyle Olympic event. That's right. A lot of Olympic trials happening right now. The Olympics are coming soon, right? A lot of Olympic trials going on. Right. First responders praised following a British Columbia school bus crash. Of course. Why not? Why not throw that? Well, it's good that the first responders did a good job. Very good. Quebec taxi driver awarded $143 million In a class action ruling. Okay. Quebec, oh, taxi drivers. It's not just one person, it's taxi drivers. I thought it was one taxi driver. I was like, what? What happened? To get 143 million? Deregulating the taxi industry and allowing Uber to operate was disguised expropriation. Really? They were able to sue just because Uber exists? I'm sure Uber has been terrible for taxi services, but wow, good for them, I guess. $143 million. Okay, let's take a look here. Let's scroll down a bit, just so I can see the news from the whole week in Canada, some of the older news. Oh, Calgary water crisis. Wake up call for every city in Canada. Was there a water crisis in Calgary? What's going on? Like running out of drinkable water? That's very scary. Why? 30% of water infrastructure in Canada is in fair or poor condition. Really? I watched a video recently. I reacted to it about how much water Canada actually has. Canada is a water superpower, but it doesn't work if the infrastructure isn't in place. That's concerning. Wow. What else do we have here? Scroll down a bit. Greatest Olympic swimming team in Canadian history heading into the Paris Games. Oh, that's going to be cool for Canada. That's going to be exciting for Canadians to get to enjoy the Canadian Olympic swimming team. The best in Canadian history. That's very exciting, actually, for Canada. Wow. I didn't know Canada had such strong swimmers. What else here? Real quick, anything else? Much of Quebec is under a heat dome, but relief is on the way. We got people in Quebec dunking their heads in the public fountains, splash pads, I should say, and cooling stations. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. They got to have these in Quebec for the hot days. Really? Is it like a heat warning? A heat dome. I'm not sure what that means. The fourth day of a heat wave. Wow. Really? Temperatures above 30 Celsius and felt like 40. Wow. 40 Celsius. I looked it up the other day. 35 degrees is like close to 90 Fahrenheit. It's hot. That's like kind of grossly hot. So wow. Definitely dunking your head under the fountain for that. Anything else? Real quick? Wolves. Bus crash survivor. Liquor store strikes. Bear hybrids traced back to a polar bear? What? Okay. Maybe that is it. Maybe that is it for today. Public servants uneasy as government spy robot prowls federal offices? Spy robots in the government? Government says robot is there to optimize workspace? They got the robots watching you work now? Oh no. Oh no, don't tell me this is the future. Robots traveling around the workspace, making sure we're all working, never a second's rest. Oh my gosh. You know what? With that's a fine place to stop for today. This was a very interesting week in Canadian news. A lot of sad stories, I'm afraid to say, but that's the news. That's the truth. Some cool stuff as well. Good for Edmonton and the Oilers. Good luck. Good luck in Game 7. My goodness. Yeah, but good or bad, I did enjoy getting up to date on the Canadian news this week. So anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on the Canadian news this week or any other Canadian news stories I may have missed that are very important. That'd be very helpful. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.